Всем привет, с вами Антилар. Продолжаю проходить Fallout 4 StoryWealth. В этой серии продолжаем проходить квесты Sim Settlements 2 Chapter 3. В этот раз я начну с квеста Эйде Мемойре. Это побочный квест от Магнусона. Это создатель Осама. В прошлой серии я выполнил первый квест от Магнусона. Я получил бесполезное уникальное оружие и наводку на второй квест. Плюс в процессе еще что-то успело сломаться. В этот раз начну с выполнения этого квеста. Я между сериями вычистил весь инвентарь. У меня 200 килограммов осталось, что нормально. И теперь я готов отправиться в путь. Поехали. На карте есть 3 точки, иду туда. Приближаюсь к первой точке. Это Простбар. Я уже лутал эту локацию, здесь больше ничего ценного для меня нет. Шляпа Магнусона. Менеджменту просто. Похоже, доктор Магнусон сегодня был на свидании. Он был так ей очарован, что забыл свою шляпу, когда ушел. Не могу сказать, что я виню его, она была очень привлекательна. Обязательно верните ему шляпу в следующий раз, когда доктор посетит. Или может повесить ее на стену. Шляпа Карла С. Магнусона, самого популярного астронавта Америки. Следующая локация, куда я направлюсь, тут неподалеку. Boylston Club.
Second floor.
Запись патрона клуба Бойлстон.
Ah, Madison. Looking as lovely as always. Care for a Nuka Dark?
Good evening, Magnuson.
I assume this impromptu meeting means a decision has been reached?
Yes and no. Given our current partnership with Robco and your less than amicable parting, there's been discussion regarding the ethics of recruiting your services.
Ethics? Not a word I'd expect to hear from Vault-Tec. Let's cut the crap, Maddie. You wouldn't have come all the way here if it was just to say, no deal. Your higher-ups simply think they can get more out of me. And they're not wrong. I know how this game is played. Fine. On top of guiding your attempts to replicate ASAM technology, I'll also see about getting 111's cryotech up to speed, but that is all.
And if my superiors ask what, precisely, you're wanting in return?
Then you make up some plausible-sounding lie. After all, that was part of our deal, Madison. No records, no oversight, complete autonomy. Vault-Tec keeps their nose out, and I do the same in return. No reason for either party to pry too deeply into the other's affairs. Or secrets.
You really do know how this game is played.
Well, when you've been around as many politicians as I have, you learn a few things.
You have yourself a deal, Dr. Magnuson. Excuse me, do you have a telephone I can use? I have an important call to make.
Of course. This way, Miss St. James.
Boylston Club Note. Записка клуба Бойлстон. Алекс, подготовь следующую партию холокассет. Наш контактер становится нетерпеливым. Если тебя снова начнет что-то смущать, просто запомни, некоторые из наших патронов имеют очень важную информацию. Записывая их переговоры, мистер Чоу говорит, что мы помогаем другим американцам узнать правду. А деньги нам все равно не помешают. В любом случае. Кстати говоря, я оставил кое-что для тебя в сейфе, Сэмми. Какой здесь сейф? Какой-то сейф? Нет здесь никакого сейфа. А, вот он сейф. Я его уже облутал, конечно же. Я был бы не я, если бы я не облутал сейф. Так, здесь была еще одна точка. Там. Театр Ворон. Что вы тут делаете? В этой локации даже лут есть. Очень интересно. Как я мог это пропустить раньше?
Ground floor. Ground floor. Fourth floor.
Reporting status. All functions normal.
Театр Ворон. Последнее важное шоу сегодня ночью. Целый дом был забронирован специальным гостем. Поэтому давайте поставим лучшее представление по сей день. Как вы помните, в конце третьего акта второй сцены ходит и запомните, в конце третьего акта во второй сцене нужно войти в зрительский зал и предоставить розу женщине доктора Магнуссона вместо графини. Ее имя Мэдисон. И сказать следующие слова. Подарок для тебя, милая леди Мэдисон. Бледное отражение красоты, твоей собственной красоты, молю о твоем внимании. Молю о твоем почтении или что-то в этом роде. Поняли? Хорошо. Репетиции начнутся в 2. Вечеринка будет в 11. Будет алкоголь. Если есть винтаж Амантильядо. Целых 4 штуки. Дрессер. Ничего особенного.
Yes.
настолько много модов влезает в эту локацию, что я даже не буду пытаться угадать, к какому именно моду я обязан 4 бутылками амантильяда. Я даже не знаю, это то амантильяда, которое обычное, или это какое-то отдельное амантильяда. Не знаю.
Well, did you find anything?
I came across a holotape.
Excuse me, do you have a telephone I can use? I have an important call to make.
Of course. This way, Miss St. James.
Well, I'll be a Chinaman's uncle. St. James isn't a place, it's a person. A very specific person. Madison. Yes. Yes, I remember now. Madison St. James, Chief Procurement Officer for Vault-Tec. She was the one who recruited me after Robco gave me the boot. She helped salvage my project.
Do you know her?
You could say that. We dated for a time. Good Lord, I can't believe I almost forgot about Maddie.
What's this project?
By now, it's possible you've already uncovered some smattering of information. I suppose there's no harm in sharing a little more. You see, before the bombs were finally dropped, a lot of us knew the day was coming. The end of the world, or at least the world that was. Individuals, corporations, governments, they all prepared for the worst. Ways to survive a nuclear apocalypse. For example, Vault-Tec had their vaults, Pulowski with their preservation shelters. I, however, had a better idea. As grand as it was attainable, all I lacked was the means. That's why I approached Robco with my idea, and later why I agreed to work with Vault-Tec. But things didn't transpire quite as I anticipated. For now, that's all I care to share.
Do you remember now?
Yes, yes I do. I remember where I hid what you'll need to hijack Atomic Rain. Obviously, Miss St. James was not the location, but she was the one who granted me access to it. The technology you need is hidden in Vault 111. That's where you need to go.
You've been to a vault?
To say I was simply there does a disservice to my genius. After all, I'm the one who got Vault 111 operational.
Could you elaborate?
It was part of the deal I struck with Vault-Tec. They were desperate to get their cryogenic suspension pods working, and I was desperate for the resources to complete my project. But I'm no fool. I had my suspicions regarding the true purpose of the vaults. But in the grand scheme of things, 111 seemed relatively benign.
What do you know about Vault-Tec?
More than they would like. Early in my military career, I had the chance to witness the kind of company Vault-Tec was. I had already seen my fair share of warfare, death, killed others with my own hands. My heart was hardened, you could say. But even to someone like me, Vault-Tec's callous attitude towards human life was shocking. Years later, when I entered the private sector, I made a promise to myself to avoid any association with them. A promise that, much to my chagrin, I would break.
Good work, Doc. I know the way.
Of course you do. And if I might add, I'm quite impressed by your attitude. There's not many who possess your composure and drive. I shall make contact with your partner. You'll be requiring his assistance. I'll have him meet you by the vault's entrance. And about returning to 111. I understand this may bring up some complicated emotions for you, but I assure you that this is necessary.
It's okay. I can do this.
Your professionalism serves you well. You have your assignment. I suggest you make haste. Oh, and don't forget to bring the steno.
Speak to Magnusson via HQ radio. Выполнено.
Discharging ordnance.
Target destroyed.
Excuse me.
Oh, hey. I got a call through the comm array. From Magnuson, of all people. Said to grab my tool belt and meet you here. What's going on?
What did he say?
Let's see. It was something about hijacking some kind of rain satellite to launch bombs at the gunners. And that I was to meet you at Vault 111. The explanation I got was kind of brief, but it did seem important, so here I am. Although, still not entirely sure why.
Everything okay here?
Looks to be. Not much going on around the vault's entrance. I guess most people still think 111's sealed up tight. Would explain why no scavengers have come here yet. Maybe we should plant a flag here at some point. But for now, what are we doing here?
Well, we can find out the answer.
Ah, there you are. I assume you're at the vault. Good.
Hey, Dr. Magnuson? Jake speaking. If you don't mind my asking, what exactly are we doing here? I mean, I get that we're gonna hijack a bunch of satellites to blow up the gunners, but...
Have no fear, my boy. All shall be explained.
I'm all ears.
Your summation of the plan is correct, if a tad nebulous. We shall indeed hijack the atomic rain satellites, but in order to do so, we must establish a connection to the satellite network. And for that, we'll have to replicate a pre-war mainframe.
What, like a supercomputer? No problem. I've got a few ASAMs with me. Just send over some blueprints and we can start construction right away.
Whoa there, Sonny. Hold your horses. I'm afraid those paperweights you call ASAMs aren't up to the task. That's why I've sent you here.
How does this device work?
Prior to the bombs falling, atomic rain was controlled by a system known as ECAM. At its core, ECAM was just a large room of networked computers, constantly communicating with the satellites it monitored and occasionally issuing commands. However, this communication was heavily encrypted and required real-time decoding, and that's what this supercomputer we build shall do.
Go on, Doctor.
Now, as you're both aware, ASAMs enable even the mentally deficient to construct fairly elaborate structures with great proficiency. But what you may not know is that the devices you've been using are not true ASAM sensors. Robco stole my designs and simplified them, bastardized what should have been one of the greatest technological breakthroughs into a cheap product. But if we're going to build something as complex as this supercomputer, we're going to need the real McCoy. We're going to need an ASAM sensor built to its original specifications.
Let me guess.
Yes, that's right. We'll find what we need right here. Go ahead and start the vault's entry sequence. Head inside, and I'll guide you the rest of the way.
Go on. Button should be in that control room there.
Entry sequence, блин. Ну, это вот здесь.
Here we go.
Угу.
Could have sworn. Ah.
Weak. Set the vault's comm system to our radio frequency. Yes. There we are. Much better. Now, start working your way towards the cryo chambers. Before the bombs fell, I hid a holotape containing the original schematics for a number of my inventions down here, including the ASAMs. That's what you'll be looking for. This holotape. Well, if you're where I think you are, you should see a fire control unit near a doorway. Lock the intake near the bottom. It'll trick the vault into thinking a fire has broken out. Should open the Overseer's emergency escape. Yes, it should have. But Vault Tech were never big on fixing design oversights. That's why they resorted to bringing in people like me.
So, Dr. Magnuson, you worked on Vault 111?
In a manner of speaking. You see, Vault Tech were struggling to achieve successful cryogenic suspension. Test subjects were being prematurely thawed out, resulting in tissue damage and cellular bonding with the consistency of runny oatmeal. I have a background in the field of cryogenics, so I offered my expertise in exchange for supplies, and the funding for my pet project.
This isn't the first time you mentioned this project of yours. Would it be out of line if I asked what it was?
Yes, it would.
И? Джейк просто взял и ушел. Эма 03. Нифига себе тут стать. Ебать. Я на 900-й. Save game. New 2. Следующий 900.
Ah, damn it. We got another sealed door. And I don't think the fire control trick is gonna work again.
You're in the Overseer's office, yes? You should be able to override the door controls from in there. Take a look around.
To be frank, Dr. Magnuson, we're all rather relieved to have you here. Our last technical review was hardly glowing, and things have only gotten worse. Oh, do you mind? I'm recording on my Pip-Boy for future citation, you understand.
Yes, that's fine.
I'm hoping you can start right away. Now, we've actually been using your past research as reference, so a lot of what we've done should be familiar.
Yes, well, from what I've read, I'm not surprised you've been having problems. The pod's designs are hardly conventional.
Speaking of which, I understand you've already had a pod reserved for yourself. You must really believe in the project.
Yes. Well.
Here we are. The entrance to what will be Vault 111.
Нет.
Nice.
Приоритетное сообщение от Волтека всем наблюдателям. Конфиденциально, конфиденциально, конфиденциально. Только для наблюдателей. 10.02.279. Сердечное приветствие из Волтека. Мы в Волтеке приносим глубочайшие изменения за проблему с коммуникацией. И верим, что за последние два столетия предоставило большие возможности для роста и развития в вашем убежище и ее ценных резидентах. Чтобы подтвердить наше неугасающее стремление к прогрессу, мы просим все активные убежища ответить на это сообщение в ближайшее время. Предоставить также обновление на состояние убежища и данные по активным и завершенным исследованиям. Ваше терпение и продолжающаяся целеустремленность к миссии Волтека очень дорогого стоит. Спасибо и будьте уверены, будущее светлое с Волтеком. Приоритетное сообщение. Пожалуйста, ответьте в ближайшее время. То же самое здесь. 10-17. Это через полгода. Значит, добро пожаловать еще раз от команды Волтека. Мы расстроены, что мы не услышали ничего из наших ценных убежищ в Содружестве. Это нас привело Это вызывает тревогу. Мы понимаем, что здесь в Волтеке 200 лет могут привести к большому количеству непредсказуемых изменений и событий, включающих, но не ограниченных трудностей или промедления в исследовании проектов убежища. Переведение лидерства убежища или структуры сообщества. Неследование принципам управления Волтека. Значит, уход или репопуляция убежища внешними группами. Необоснованный скептицизм в сторону Волтека. Манипуляция внешними существами. И неправильное применение идеалов коммунизма. Мы спешим вас убедить, что мы принимаем эти изменения как природные развития и не будем не будем ставить вас перед ответственностью за жителями убежища. И все равно ожидаем от вас контакта. Спасибо еще раз, и мы ожидаем вашего ответа. Кто-нибудь, пожалуйста, ответьте нам. Неконфиденциально, пожалуйста, читайте. Кто можете. Там еще кто-нибудь есть? Хоть одно убежище все еще живо? Все еще читаете это? Нам все равно кто вы, просто ответьте нам. Мы обещаем вам богатство, ресурсы, новую технологию и доступ к ценным местности. Пожалуйста, ответьте, пожалуйста. Ну, как вы понимаете, никто ничего не ответил. Open. Теперь написано, что оно открыто. Но написано, что open. Но все еще inaccessible. Блин. Так open или inaccessible? Figure out how to open overseer's door. Ни хрена. Я же нажал Open. Open, bled. Opening. Я не понимаю, в чем проблема. Все пролистал. Все.
Hey,
Hey,
На какой сейчас стадии? На 925, 930.
that pipe might control the flow of pressure going to that door. Maybe you should follow it.
Что? Вы издеваетесь? Так, ну что дальше тогда? Что-то принципиально не пытается работать. Не пытается не работать.
Hey, you got the door open. Good job.
Напишу, что я должен был сделать.
oh God.
Hey, Doctor. I got another question for you.
Why does that not surprise me?
Why are you helping us? Fighting back against the Gunners, I mean.
You know the Gunners have an employer, yes? But do you know what it is they've been employed to do all this time?
Can't say that we do.
To the best of my knowledge, the Gunners' contracted responsibilities are twofold. 1. Locate and secure components of a particular pre-war technology. And 2. Devise a way to deliver said technology to their employer. The late Captain West had already fulfilled the second part of the contract, and this new Captain Lamont is very close to completing the first.
But what's that got to do with...
This technology they've been searching for. They're called Ingram tapes. And along with the ASAMs, they were a core part of my project.
So that's why you're helping us. The Gunners are messing around with something that was important to you. It's personal.
My boy, this goes far beyond personal.
Hey, we're seeing a bunch of those pods. Think we're in the right room. What now?
Find and open my cryo chamber.
Okay. How do we know which one is yours?
It'll be the chamber I'm not in.
Right.
Ну и как?
Why?
This one is empty.
Why'd they do this?
Assuming this pod wasn't yours, this must be the right one. Go ahead, open it up. It's open. What do we do now?
Next, you'll have to remove a component from the steno.
Oh, right. You mean that magnet rifle of yours. Hey, darling, can you pass me the gun?
Sure. Here you go.
Thanks.
Check the rifle's coil assembly. You'll notice a small control board. Pull out the gold-colored chip. Don't worry, it's designed to be removed.
Блять, пидрила, куда ты попёрся?
Feel free to chat amongst yourselves.
Где ты, сука? Лагучее дерьмо, а? А вот он телепортировался сюда.
I'd like to know more about Vault 111.
Part of Vault-Tech's Project Safe House. It was sold to the public as a shelter, meant to protect and house individuals in the event of atomic war. But in truth, 111's purpose was to study the prolonged effects of cryogenic suspension. Something that Vault-Tech's higher-ups were very interested in knowing the results of.
Who are the Gunners working for?
For now, it's better that you don't know. Trust me, the knowledge would only cause complications.
Please, tell me. I need to know.
Very well. We can discuss it later, but now is not the time.
Why freeze yourself?
Despite their crude design, dubious purpose, and shocking lack of redundant backups, once I had finished overhauling them, this vault's cryo chambers offered the perfect respite. When the bombs fell, I was already in my mid-50s, and it would take at least 2 decades for my preparations to bear fruit. Freezing myself seemed like the obvious choice. Of course, in the end, I ended up not using the cryo chamber. Best laid plans, as the saying goes.
A chip? What's it do?
Most of my creations are designed around proprietary software, or hardware, like that chip. Rarely. This was because I could fabricate more sophisticated components that were commercially available. Or privately, for that matter. But an added benefit of this is that my inventions and work became difficult for others to decipher, interfere with, or replicate. This acted as a safeguard of sorts, and it allowed me to use certain components as physical encryption.
Oh, I get you. So the chip in this rifle is like a key.
Precisely. And this key will open the way to where I hid the holotape. You'll find its accompanying lock on the intersection of my cryo chamber.
All right, got the chip. Let's try giving this key a turn.
Что ты делаешь, блин?
Whoa now!
Sealed off and concealed an old maintenance tunnel. The only way to find it was if you knew it was there. And if you had the key, of course. You'll find the holotape you need at the end of the tunnel.
Well then, after you, darling.
Джейк сюда не пошел. Скотина.
Sealed tight. Looks like this door had its own power supply, but it's long out of juice. Hey, Doc. You got another closed door down here. Any ideas? Dr. Magnuson? Huh. Guess we're too far down for the radio to work. Looks like we're on our own. This door's frozen shut. Don't think we can pry it open. We're gonna need a fusion core to get it open again. If you don't happen to have a core handy, take a look around. Maybe we'll get lucky. In the meantime, I'll see what I can do here.
Fusion core. Hey. А? А. О. Нет? А. И?
Open says you. Nicely done. Let's
У
keep
меня
going.
не было Fusion Core, если чё. У меня его просто не было.
Now this looks promising. Let's see here. Hello there, little terminal. What you've got to say?
Ты про этот терминал?
Well,
There we go.
this is definitely where Magnuson hid the holotape. Only problem is, I think it's down at the bottom of that flooded elevator shaft. I'm sending it to the command to ascend, but nothing's happening. Maybe all that water's putting too much strain on the elevator. The increased load is too much for the servos to handle. I'm open to any suggestions you'd care to venture.
I'll see what I can do.
Always the problem solver, huh? I'm sure you'll find something that'll help. You always do. We just need to find a way to get to that holotape.
Nice.
Так, я, наверное, продолжу в следующей серии, потому что еще непонятно насколько. Всем спасибо, с вами был Антилар, всем пока.